So are you in the program? Yeah, I'm in a shelter. They basically
What's your fun?
they tell us that they're trying to look for us a place, but we've been in there for going on 2 years.
Just when the Blueface and Chrisean circus looked like it had already burned through every possible plot twist, the internet found 3 brand new gasoline cans, fresh concern over Junior's health, ugly money questions surrounding Blueface, and a $1 million kick story that is suddenly wobbling harder than a folding chair at a Zeus reunion. 1 family, 3 controversies, and absolutely nobody reaching for the emergency brake. Now people are staring at recent footage and asking whether Junior may still be dealing with complications from his earlier hernia condition. But instead of clear answers, the public is getting blurry clips, defensive reactions, and enough speculation to turn social media into an unpaid pediatric conference. And while nobody online should be diagnosing a child from screenshots, the concern is not disappearing just because Chrisean wants the conversation redirected. Meanwhile, Blueface has judgments, redirected royalties, and reported mortgage trouble circling his finances like sharks that just heard dinner music. Yet suddenly, he and Chrisean keep appearing in the same orbit again. Coincidence, romance, co-parenting, or a financial reunion tour nobody purchased tickets for? Because when the cameras return exactly as the money questions get louder, the audience starts counting more than views. Then comes the kick controversy, where Chrisean's reported $1 million deal remains publicly unconfirmed while her visible numbers have critics asking whether the bag was real, exaggerated, or wrapped in influencer smoke. But the most disturbing twist is not any single rumor. It is how Junior, Blueface, and Chrisean's platform drama may all be feeding the same attention machine, and once you see who benefits every time concern explodes, this story becomes much darker. The mess did not begin with one explosive livestream or reunion clip. It began with a pattern, and patterns make internet detectives pull receipts like they are being paid overtime. Chrisean had spent months promising that her next chapter would look calmer, focused, and centered on Junior's progress, her faith, and rebuilding outside the chaos. Then the cameras returned, Blueface drifted back into the conversation, kick streams appeared, and the peaceful reset looked less like transformation and more like the same reality show wearing a church hat. This time, however, the background noise was not only relationship drama. It involved a child's health, financial pressure, and a streaming deal nobody could publicly verify. Junior's medical history made the latest concern hit harder. Chrisean previously shared that he underwent surgery for an inguinal hernia while still very young, and supporters were relieved to hear the procedure had been completed successfully. That should have closed the public chapter, but recent footage and screenshots pushed the subject back into circulation, with viewers questioning whether something still appeared wrong. The internet split instantly. One side demanded answers, while the other warned that strangers were diagnosing a child from blurry images. Both concerns mattered, because worry can be sincere without becoming a medical conclusion. Once commenters used words like infection, neglect, and unfinished surgery, understandable concern turned into dangerous certainty. The reaction became louder because everyone remembered how Junior's condition first became public. Blueface had previously posted an intimate image connected to the baby's medical issue, drawing backlash because a child's private health information had become relationship ammunition. Chrisean later took Junior for treatment, but critics never forgot the sequence and argued that public pressure had forced action when private responsibility should have been enough. That interpretation remains disputed, yet it became the foundation for every new concern. When another image began circulating, viewers arrived carrying old resentment and the belief that the adults around Junior only respond once the internet starts screaming. The result was not calm discussion. It was digital panic wearing a detective badge. Then came the hot tub footage, and the debate expanded beyond the hernia question. Viewers were already watching Chrisean's parenting under a microscope, so seeing Junior in a jacuzzi-style setting triggered another safety backlash. especially because public health guidance warns against hot tub use for young children. The clip became gasoline because it appeared while Chrisean was presenting herself as disciplined, spiritually grounded, and serious about her son's development. Critics said the image did not match the message, while supporters argued that a short clip could not reveal the temperature, duration, or circumstances. That missing context should have slowed everyone down, but social media does not believe in breaks. One video became an entire parenting trial. While Chrisean faced that pressure, Blueface's finances were creating a separate storm. The rapper had already been hit with a massive civil judgment connected to a former Las Vegas nightclub owner, and later court action reportedly redirected music royalties toward another unpaid judgment. His Canyon country home appeared on the market for around $1.25 million, while online reports claimed a notice of default had been recorded against the property. A notice of default is not a completed foreclosure, but that distinction vanished in the gossip cycle. The internet translated complicated paperwork into one brutal sentence: Blueface might be running out of money. Once that idea took hold, every reunion sighting beside Chrisean looked financially suspicious. That is where the story became uncomfortably convenient. Chrisean and Blueface have always generated attention together, even when it looked more like a public emergency than entertainment. Their breakups, reunions, family feuds, and co-parenting disasters produce the kind of traffic most creators spend years trying to build. So when Blueface's money rumors intensified and Chrisean appeared around him again, critics accused them of rebuilding the circus because the circus still pays. There was no public document proving a secret financial partnership, no confirmed contract saying they reunited for content, and no receipt showing Chrisean was rescuing his house. But the timing looked messy enough to inspire suspicion. And celebrity gossip convicts timing before evidence enters the courtroom. The suspicion grew because Blueface's streaming numbers reportedly climbed whenever Chrisean or Junior entered the discussion. Ordinary lives might attract modest replay totals, but clips connected to family conflict, welfare checks, reunion rumors, or questions about Junior pulled stronger attention. That did not prove exploitation, yet it showed what the audience rewarded. Every time the family entered crisis mode, the numbers woke up. Whenever the conversation became calm, viewers wandered away. It was the darkest algorithm lesson possible. Stability was bad for business, but panic brought traffic. Critics began asking whether the adults were trapped inside an attention economy that punishes peace, and whether Junior's name had become the emergency button pressed whenever engagement started falling. Then Chrisean's kick deal entered the picture and turned suspicion into open warfare. Reports circulated that she had signed an agreement worth around $1 million, and Chrisean promoted the idea that a major bag had arrived. The problem was that Kick never publicly confirmed the reported amount, leaving critics to compare her visible follower count and replay totals with creators known to receive enormous contracts. Her audience was not non-existent, but it did not resemble the traffic associated with publicly discussed multi-million-dollar deals. Supporters argued that private contracts can include exclusivity, appearances, branding value, or guarantees outsiders cannot see. Critics said the million-dollar story looked like influencer smoke designed to make ordinary streaming revenue sound like a lottery win, just when Chrisean needed her content to silence doubters. The streams created another problem. Instead of consistently focusing on Junior's development, boxing, faith, or a comeback journey, she began featuring vulnerable people, makeovers, and heavy personal stories that critics felt were being packaged for views. One woman discussed shelter living and abuse during a stream, and although Chrisean offered practical help, viewers questioned why so much hardship needed to become public content. Assistance and exploitation can exist in the same frame. Buying someone a phone or clothes can be generous, while broadcasting their trauma can still feel invasive. The platform meant to prove Chrisean's independence was creating questions about how far she would go to hold an audience. By this point, Three controversies had locked together like a reality television trap. Junior's health concerns made viewers anxious. Blueface's reported financial pressure made every reunion look strategic, and the unconfirmed kick money made Chrisean's success story feel unstable. None of those issues alone proved the darkest accusations, but together they created a narrative the internet could not resist. A family under pressure, a child at the center of public concern, and two adults whose strongest financial weapon might still be their chaos. The reactions were no longer simple criticism. They were warning signs that the audience had stopped believing explanations before they were offered. As more clips surfaced, the question became whether the comeback had been built on a foundation already cracking. By the time Part 1 ended, the internet had grabbed a gavel and declared itself judge, jury, pediatric specialist, mortgage officer, and streaming executive instantly. Every screenshot became evidence, every silence became a confession, and that is why the story cannot close cleanly. Blueface still has financial questions hanging over him. Chrisean still has a streaming narrative that needs stronger proof. And Junior's current medical condition remains something only qualified professionals and his caregivers can confirm. One official document, one honest health update, or one unguarded livestream could change everything overnight. But the final twist is that the next chapter may not be triggered by a breakup at all. It may begin when somebody inside their circle reveals whether this reunion is about family, survival, or rebuilding the most profitable circus either of them has left. So now we have possible health concerns surrounding Junior, Blueface allegedly wrestling with financial pressure, and Chrisean's $1 million kick story wobbling under a spotlight brighter than a Zeus reunion entrance. At this point, the only thing missing is a foreclosure notice arriving during a livestream while somebody yells, "We're healing." Tell us what you believe. Is this a genuine family reunion, a desperate attention reset, or the most chaotic financial collaboration the internet never asked to witness? Smash that like button like it owes you $13 million, redirect its royalties, and put its house on the market before Blueface gets any new ideas. Then drop your verdict in the comments. Because the internet courtroom is still in session, the evidence table is overflowing, and everybody has suddenly become a mortgage specialist, streaming analyst, and pediatric consultant. Just remember, concern is valid, but diagnosing a child through screenshots is where commentary turns into reckless chaos. Subscribe to Fame Floss before the next livestream unlocks another plot twist, another contradictory statement, or another mysterious reunion that somehow arrives exactly when the views need CPR. Turn on notifications. Because the circus does not announce when the tent is reopening, it simply appears online with cameras rolling and explanations missing. Until the next scandal drops, keep your receipts organized, your sarcasm fully charged, and your eyes on every flaw hiding behind the fame right here on Fame Floss.